Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Welcome to Indie Eyeshadow Palette Week, and today we're talking Glossgods. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today's video is going to be, I think, the first one that I'm going to be putting up later this week, where I will be talking about nothing but indie eyeshadow and indie eyeshadow palettes. I had this planned out for May, and then I completely fell behind because I was ill for a week. And I was like looking at my December planning, and I was like, I haven't done that yet, so let's make sure we can get this done, and that's where I'm coming from with this. So I thought I could talk about one of my favorite indie brands as the first video, which is Glossgods, so let's just get to the video. For anyone who might be new here, then it may be good to know who I am and what I like doing on this channel. My name is Maaike, I live in the Netherlands, I have fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, and this greatly influences how I feel about makeup. I have been reviewing makeup for more than a decade, and I'm a teacher in my day-to-day life. I love eyeshadow palettes, essence, and couture, and getting the use out of my makeup. So if that's something you are interested in, then I hope you'd like to consider sticking around. We have a video all about Glossgods because Glossgods in 2023 has quickly become one of my favorite brands for eyeshadow. I first discovered them at the end of 2022. I had heard of them before, but nothing they had released had really sparked my interest. But then at the end of 2022, I found their New Neutrals Remix palette. So this is where it all started for me. This is the first one I bought, and then it kind of snowballed from there. So I now have 6 Glossgods palettes that were all purchased within like the past year. So I was like, you know what? I need to do a dedicated video to this. I don't think I have enough for a ranking because the bottom 2 are just fresh in. I haven't even been able to swatch these for you. So I'll have swatches for these that I have done on my own skin tone, but these will be reviewed, I think, sometime in like January or February. Those reviews will go up. So then I will have those swatches for you because I haven't been able to even have time to take pictures of these yet. So I'm not going to be sticking my fingers in a brand new palette if I haven't had time to like take all the pictures yet. Because I like using like the pristine pictures for like the rest of my videos as well. So that's what I still need to do with these two. So just for a full disclaimer, I will be inserting some swatches that I have found on the Glossgods website for both of those. So let me just talk to you about the first one that I tried and that I bought and that really kicked off this entire Glossgods train that I'm on. The New Neutrals Remix palette is one of the palettes that I feel has really amped up neutrals for me. So I love a neutral. It's what I'm wearing on my face today. What else is new? I really, really adore neutrals, and I do like to play around with my makeup as well. But I have so many like good standard, good for everyday kind of neutrals. And this is neutrals with a twist, which I love. We get something more cool toned here in the bottom row. And this section here is a bit more warm toned. And this section over here is a little bit more neutral. I'm not sure if you can see. Yes, you can see. So here in the mirror, you can see that this pulls green as well. You can't really see this one, but that one also has like this green flip. Meaning that because they have a peach to green flip, both of them can go with all of the neutrals as well as these green toned, cooler tones that are in the bottom half. You can turn this into a very smoky, sultry look. It can be very glam, but it can also be very neutral and great for every day. In short, it's the neutral palette that can do it all. It can cater to the people who love their pigmentation, but it's incredibly blendable and buildable as well. So if you're a beginner with makeup and you want to branch out, then this is a great place to start as well, I feel. Plus you get a lot of special sparkly shades that can really take your eye look to the next level. I mean, you can pull in a very basic shimmer like this one and it will look gorgeous as well. So this just has a lot going for it, and I fell in love. It was just stunning. I really, really enjoyed every look that came out of it, and because I liked it so much, I actually made it part of a giveaway I hosted in August. So, I mean, if I love something this much, I have to try and get some other people on board. Glossgods is, of course, a Swedish indie brand, so for me, as a citizen in the European Union, it's just so great to find such a great indie brand that I don't have to wait months for it to arrive, and I don't have to pay too much in shipping and handling fees. If you're in the US, you're gonna have to pay prime postage for this one. I know, but I know that my fellow European Union citizens are very happy to see brands like this as well existing within our realm, and for once, we don't have to shell out the exorbitant shipping and handling fees, because I had someone commenting on a recent video of mine saying, oh, it would take like $70 in shipping and handling fees for it to get here. How much do you think I have to pay for things like ColourPop, Shroud, Sydney Grace, you know, all of the other indie brands that a lot of people are hyping up? That's my reality. So that's why if I'm hyping up this one and you're like, ooh, that's too much, that's fine. You have a lot of access to other indie brands as well. But that's just the way I feel as well. Hey, if I want to get my hands on those things, I have to pay just as much. But Glossgods isn't just great at doing really good neutrally everyday things. They also do a lot of fun things, because they are definitely a brand that's aimed more so towards, you know, people who want to be creative with their makeup as well. And they do these effects palette. This is the first one I got. This is the Dancing in the Sky. It's green for a reason, but it's all shimmer. It's an all green, all shimmer palette. And you might look at this and you go like, what do I do with that? But this is absolutely stunning. I have quite a few really good mattes in terms of like greens in both my singles collection as well as in palettes. So I don't really need a lot of like green tones from that perspective. One of the things I always find very difficult to find are really good colorful shimmers. Like whenever brands do rainbow palettes, they tend to be all matte, but just take your green matte palette and then pop in a couple of these and you're good to go. But these also work by itself. When I was testing this one out, I created the looks just with this palette, and I was just amazed. Again, you get a very sort of like, you get variation in their shimmers, which is also what I enjoy in the new neutrals. You get some things that are like your standard shimmers, like this over here. You get some flaky things as well. Like a lot of people think I hate flaky shimmers. I do not, but I don't like it if that's the only type of shimmer we get in the entire palette, like the Adept Minka and the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2 that I've tried. But here you just get one of them. And the others, like this entire row, are duochromes. They are all duochromes. Then you get something that's a little bit more flippy here as well, and then here we get some more standard things, but nothing in this palette is exactly what you think it might be, and that's just what I enjoy. They all have a green base, so they will just amp up any green look you might do. As I mentioned, you can also create looks with just the palette, even though it's an all shimmer palette. I don't mind having a shimmer in the crease. I mean, in fact, I have an all satin look on today, and I think it's absolutely stunning. But yeah, this Dancing in the Sky palette was just the palette that confirmed for me that Glossgods just has an amazing shimmer formula, and I prefer shimmers over mattes. If you're into mattes, this is not the brand for you, but I think that with just a handful of really good mattes and just really fun shimmers, you can keep varying your looks into oblivion, and that's what Glossgods has to offer as well. So those were the first two I tried. But then, as I had just gotten those in, and I had only swatched them, they did this last year for Christmas limited edition. And I was like, this is even more up my street. It's the Smoke N Mirrors, and this is what that palette looks like. I just really, really even adore this even more than the new neutrals and the Dancing in the Sky. This has an equal split shimmers and mattes, so there's a couple more mattes in here. You get six mattes, 6 shimmers. Nothing in here is overly flaky or foily or flippy or anything. It's just an incredibly good shimmer formula that's high shine and will just see you through. You might think, hey, we're getting 2 whites, but this one has a pink flip. Whereas this one is just a straight up white shimmer. You get 2 grays, but you get like a silver that's like a little bit more pewter leaning, I would say. It's not too stark of a silver. If a silver is really, really bright, I usually don't like it. And then you just get this really nice like charcoal gray kind of thing. These two grays pulled similarly on some people, I have heard, but on me it's like the light and the dark version that I needed to have in this palette to have something more than just a transition shade in here. You get these heathery purple sort of cool toned yumminess. It's not too pink, it's not too purple. It can work really well. This is just my cool tone color story of my dreams, you could say. And I was very happy that I didn't wait on this because it did sell out. And I think I got it in the second round, and I was like, oh, I haven't even tried the other ones, but I won't be able to get to try those until like February or January next year. I was like, shall I buy this? Yes or no? I was very much on the fence, but I'm so happy that I caved. And I believe I also had 25% off on this one. That's another thing I love about Glossgods. All of their palettes are around the 40 euro mark, which for a 12 pen eyeshadow palette with this kind of formula, I think is very reasonable. If you look at things like Adept and Unearthly, even if they do like 12 pans or maybe 14, a lot of their palettes are like going up towards like 60, sometimes 65 euros because they have the special formulas. But Glossgods just shows that you can do multi-chromes and duochromes and sparkly fun things and still have it be reasonably priced. I'm not saying these are affordable palettes. I mean, 40 euros for a palette is still up there. I think it's still like a high-end price point. It's like Tarte and Too Faced and those kind of brands also usually have palettes around that price point. I think The Balm had a lot of palettes around that price point as well. So if we compare it to like mainstream brands, it's sort of like lower tier Sephora, you could say. It's not quite like Pat McGrath, Natasha Denona, Urban Decay sort of level. ABH over here is even more expensive than that. It's like US price point ABH, you could say, but you get really fun shimmers. So for a while there, they didn't really release anything that stood out to me and that I wanted to get. But then over the summertime, they released this. This is the color of Rain. This is one that I have taken pictures of and I've swatched, but I haven't tried it on my face yet, I believe. But this is essentially the blue tone version of the Dancing in the Sky. It has one matte though. It's got a matte black, because if you apply a matte black and then you put shimmers over it, the flips of those shimmers are going to be much more noticeable. So it's in there to create depth in a look so that if you just apply one shade, you have the black a little bit underneath it, you can really create that dimension that a lot of these shades have. But overall, save for this pink thing and like this peachy number, it's like very blue, purpley heavy. It's just that, really. I think they also came out with a lilac palette at the same time. At the same time as they had the new neutrals out, they also had something that was like a little bit more rosy toned, but those were discontinued, I think, pretty quickly. This one took months for it to come back in stock. So I finally bought it as it came back in stock in like October, because they launched this in July or August. And at the time I was like, I'm still going to London. I don't want to buy it now. So I held off of it, but now I'm very happy to own it. And I definitely need to make sure I put this in a review video very, very soon. And then very hot off the press, these have just come in, so that's why I haven't tried them, I haven't swatched them. But because of swatches and the way these like the pictures of this and me knowing how much I love the formula, I decided to cave and buy 2 of the 4 new First Gal On series. So apparently there used to be a First Gal on the Moon and a First Gal on Mars? I think that was the second one. So a lot of things that Glossgods do when they release new palettes, like their 12 pen palettes, there will be a cool toned version and there will be a warm toned version. So for my warm toned lovers, I'll try and pop a picture up on the screen if I can find it. They have really good warm tone palettes as well. So if you like your fiery oranges, the Mars palette that they released like 2-3 weeks ago looks absolutely stunning. However, the brand has said that anything that was launched because they launched these the day Black Friday happened, that if these sell out now, they're not coming back until like early 2024. It's going to take them a couple of months for them to restock them. So if this is out of stock, I'm very sorry. But the Gal on the Moon was apparently released previously. And this was the first time they did multi-chromes, and they have reformulated the multi-chromes in this. I mean, this is a pristine palette. I just got this in the other day, but look at this. It's like the purpley version of the Dancing in the Sky. So I now have a green toned shimmer palette. I have a blue toned shimmer palette, and this is blues, greens, and purples, you could say. This is a multi-chrome, and this is a multi-chrome, and this is a multi-chrome. These seem to be differently pressed in the pan. Like when I look at them, they're a little lower down in the pan than the other shades, so I'm not sure if you get less product. I'm not sure. But other than that, we have a lot of purples in this half. We have some more like blue tone periwinkle leaning shades over here, and then you just have a gold, a green, and then this is like one of those like green, red, sort of gold multi-chromes, and these are like purpley blues, and this is like a, I'm not really sure what shift that has. Can I show you that with the mirror? No, I can't. But it's like blue to purple, like a really stunning indigo shade. So I can't wait to play with this. It looks really, really stunning. And yeah, that's the Gal on the Moon that they've just released. And as you can see also on the front, it has purple, blue, and green, which is like my favorite color story. If I go colorful, blues, greens, and purples is where it's at for me, and that's why this just looks perfect. But I know a lot of people who have seen my content this year are very sad that the Smoke N Mirrors was discontinued, but new to the first Gal On series is the first Gal on Jupiter, which is their new cool tone release. And this is mine. Because I didn't have this one in when I announced my giveaway, but if you would like to win this palette, this is currently going on in my 10K giveaway, so if you want to enter, I'll leave the link to that video down below so you can figure out how to enter, etc, etc. We're celebrating, and we're celebrating big, because this is not the only thing I'm giving away. I have 3 giveaway prizes, and you can win a very nicely packed makeup bag filled with some of my favorite makeup. And then this palette is in there as well. So apparently, I didn't know this because I got this in and I hadn't really scrutinized the pictures online. But the matte shades were put in the wrong way because now there's 5 mattes at the top. That was apparently not the color story they were going for. So if you look this up online, there are different color stories going around. The shades are the same. They were just put in by the manufacturer in a different order. And they hadn't noticed it until it was shipped out. But the feedback on this new layout is so positive that they have actually told their manufacturer that this is going to be the new layout. So that's what I noticed them saying on Instagram. So yeah, if you now buy it, if you have like one of the first ones, then it's like a special edition, but they're going to keep it this way. So if you're thinking, hey, that looks differently from the pictures I've seen, you may be right, because that's exactly what happened. But in here, we have some taupe things, like it's pretty much now the way that it's laid out. It's taupes, it's grays, and then you have these like bronzy, but they seem to have a bit of purple running through them. And then this is a gray, and then this kind of goes with this. So you have like 4 gray tones, some like neutrally cool tone leading browns, and some taupes. I can't wait to play with this. I can't wait to swatch this to see if I like it as much as the other things. Nothing in here, it's very much, it's giving Smoke N Mirrors to me. Like maybe this is a little bit flaky. Like this seems to be a little bit on the flaky side, but other than that, everything in this palette is that high shine metallic formula that I love them doing. Very similar in terms of like the kind of shimmers you get as in the Smoke N Mirrors. So if you missed out on that, I think this is going to be lovely because it's really, really nicely cool toned. And these browns, these neutrally things, and also that like darker shade here in the middle seems to have a bit of a purpley undertone. So I can't wait to play with this. It just looks absolutely stunning. I'm still keeping it in the box. As I mentioned, I'll pop some swatches up on the screen of these that I have found on the Glossgods website because I haven't been able to take pictures of these even as I'm sitting down to film this. I do apologize. Reviews are coming in the new year. January or February, I'll have like 10 new palettes to try for sure. And these are going to be part of that. So you can look forward to more content with these Glossgods palettes. I just wanted to do a grand old rave with some of my new favorite eyeshadow palettes that I have in my personal collection. And these were all bought with my own money. I'm not sponsored to tell you this. I'm just really passionate about what this brand does, and that's why I wanted to share it. So I hope you'd like to stay tuned for more indie eyeshadow in indie eyeshadow palette week, because I can't wait to share more of my favorites with you, and I hope you would like to stay tuned for more, and then I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.